In a village nestled between the whispering trees of the Silverwood Forest and the rushing waters of Elderglint River, there lived a girl named Nyra Moondrift. She wasn't the fastest runner or the best singer. She didn't carry a sword or wear a cloak made from dragon hide. Nyra, however, had two things that made her quite special: a heart that never gave up and her precious secret, the Moonstone Pendant. It had been a gift from her grandmother, passed down through her family for generations, the subject of stories and lullabies. "It holds an ancient magic," her grandmother had whispered, "but it only answers when your heart is ready." Nyra hadn't ever truly believed in magic, that is, until one fateful night. The annual Festival of Starlight was in full swing. Lanterns floated in the sky like fireflies. The delicious scent of all Nyra's favorite foods hung in the air. Fireworks sparked and crackled by the edge of the waters. Laughter echoed through the trees. A paper rocket whizzed by, grabbing her attention, and then when Nyra turned back to share a pastry with her friends, they were gone. No footprints, no sound, just a chilled wind curling through the trees and a shadow slinking into the forest. Something had taken them. Nyra raised the alarm and the villagers searched, but as they did, the forest grew dark, wild, and strange. "No one returns from the deep grove," the elders warned. "It's cursed. They're lost to us now, little one." "You're going to just give up on them?" Nyra couldn't believe what they were suggesting. "There's nothing that can be done, my dear. Certainly not in this growing darkness." Their refrain stunk of fear and self-preservation. "We'll search again in the light of the morning." Nyra knew that it would be too late by then. She knew that her friends had to be saved now. There would be no later for them. So a determined Nyra clenched her pendant, made up her mind, and declared, "Fine, I'll go alone." Nyra slipped away from the others, working her way through the trees. Under a glowing full moon, she made her way to the edge of the deep grove. Nyra took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and whispered to the pendant, "Please, if you really do have ancient magic, help me to be who I need to be to save them." And it was then that the stone in the pendant began to glow, and it floated out of Nyra's hands until it touched the moonlight, and at that moment, Nyra and the pendant were engulfed in a bright, pulsing light. For Nyra, the world spun around her and everything changed. Her hands and feet became paws, silent and soft. Her eyes glowed pale blue, like moonlight through a gemstone. Her body and limbs grew smaller as her teeth and claws grew sharper. Nyra's muscles rippled beneath soft, silvery fur. Her ears shifted up and out, flooding her mind with sounds from far away. Her new tail caught the breeze and balanced her stance. Nyra had become a cat, sleek, silver-furred, and glowing faintly with moonlight. In that moment, her name came to her like a breeze through tall grass: Lunarune. Learning to master her new form, she darted through tangled brambles with ease. She floated through the trees, going from branch to branch like the wind. Her ears twitched with every sound, and her nose caught the trail of her missing friends like threads of stardust. Deeper and deeper she went until she found a clearing wrapped in shadows. There, trapped in enchanted vines, were her friends, sleeping, caught in a spell spun by a jealous forest spirit who had long ago been forgotten. "She took them," the spirit hissed from the trees, its voice like creaking bark. "Because humans forget. They leave. And I wanted company." Not sure what to do, Lunarune considered her options. She was certainly angry enough to fight and understandably frightened enough to run. Instead, she paused for the briefest of moments and thought back to all the old stories her grandmother had told her. Stories about how people used to commune with nature and befriend magical beings instead of reacting out of fear or anger. Lunarune decided to use the one thing that had never let her down: her heart. Lunarune stepped forward and rubbed gently against the spirit's gnarled, root-like hand. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "We didn't know you were lonely, but stealing friends isn't the same as being loved." The spirit paused, No one had ever spoken to it like that before. Lunarune continued, "If you'd like a real friend, let these people go, and I'll be happy to take you with me, and give you a home that's warm and full of love." With a sigh like falling leaves, the spirit released the spell. It spun as if stirred by the wind and then twirled as it floated into the Moonstone Pendant. When the last of the spirit had disappeared inside the pendant, it shuddered and got brighter for just a moment, like a smile followed by a wink. Lunarune heard a faint "thank you" on the breeze as the air in the clearing brightened. Then the vines that held her friends shriveled and receded. The children awoke, blinking under the moonlight, to find a silver cat with stars in her fur waiting for them. It was the next morning by the time the children stumbled out of the forest, tired but safe. No one believed their story at first until they noticed the roots that had grown through the fibers of their clothes and the paw prints lined with shimmering dust leading into the forest. The girl known to the villagers only as Nyra Moondrift smiled, her moonstone warm against her chest. She never told anyone what had truly happened or what it felt like to move like a shadow and speak with magic in her voice. And some nights, when the moon is high in the sky and the trees sway just right, villagers claim to have seen a glowing cat with starlight in her eyes sitting quietly at the edge of the forest watching over them. And they call her Lunarune.